Okay, so I wanted to share today. This is Substack, and this is her page. I like the way she link Yeats and Gibran poet and with alchemy and what else she mm, I'm not remembering it right now, but the way she links all of these things, psychology, Carl Jung, alchemy, symbols, for me it's interesting. So this is her page, it's on Substack. And the one I wanted to share is this with you. Yeah. So what I liked here is her approach to different, Hinduism, Islamic point of view, different point of views from different religions, different perspectives. So the this is the I call it soulmates, but I like the way she wrote it, the halves that wander. What ancient myths and modern life teach us about soulmates. So first, it's Plato, the Symposium. You can read it. Okay, so this is these couple of lines. The splitting is about Aristophanes, and that within each of us is longing for restoration, for a completion that was taken from us. Like in the beginning, we were round, complete, rolling beings with four arms, four legs, and two faces joined back to back. We move like a sphere around across the earth, our wholeness making us formidable, too formidable. And then the gods became uneasy, and then, like this, something like this. This is a cool depiction. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, let me just share that. A true lover doesn't follow any one religion. Be sure of that, since in the religion of love there is no irreverence or faith. When in love, body, mind, heart, soul don't even exist. Become this love, and you will not be separated again. Okay. Then she discusses Okay, so in West, the story of soulmates begins with Aristophanes, but the idea of soul recognition is much older and more widespread. Makes sense. Then she jumps to the ancient Egypt. The soul was not a single unit but a constellation. So then Ka and Ba, and that what I was saying. Can I see? Okay, let's say yeah. I'm like I don't know if it has a link or not, but that Ka, so Arabic calf and Arabic Ba, and again it's in English K and B. But these are different concepts when it comes to ancient Egypt. Okay, so let's erase it. There was the point. Where else? Okay, so in Egyptian, the Ka and Ba, different aspects that traveled, and remember the Book of Dead? Yes, I guess it was this. Was it recommended in that interconnected couple of books that he recommended? I have to read it. Describes soul meeting again in the afterlife, and yes, it's also in Islamic. So if just like my friend. So I didn't get my friend says, my husband according to my taste in this world. So I'm counting on the day of judgment, life of after that, afterlife, that I'll have my kind of what I want. I will have that kind of husband. I don't like it. I don't like this concept. So we, at least Pakistani, we Muslim, Pakistani people, we, put everything on the day of judgment, and we struggle for nothing. We just like, this is my fate. I can do nothing for it. Yes, you can. We always have a choice. You always have a choice. You can always do something. It's sometimes, I guess, it's just easy. the way in the Merlin season she says, Guinevere, it's easy to think that you don't have a choice, that I don't have a choice. So, so I'm connecting this there, sometimes as lovers, but also as companions who had walked alongside one another before. Okay, then she jumps to Hindu philosophy, Atman, the individual soul, is neverly separate from Brahman. Atman, Brahman, the universal ground of being, the deepest recognition is not meeting of two halves, but the unveiling of shared core sense, and love becomes the glimpse of a unity that was always present, though often forgotten. Okay, I don't know, but I have this love for Celtic tradition, curiosity, Irish, Ireland, Anamkara, and there's also this book, Anamkara. So, Anamkara means the soul friend, refers to a bond of spiritual intimacy. Again, this can sometimes be romantic, but often it is recognition of a teacher. It can be a friend, a companion who changes the direction of your life. So far, so three doesn't mean like your soulmate, you have to get married. Then Buddhist notion thought adds another layer in a world woven together interdependence. All beings are already linked. To fixate on a single special connection risks mistaking the thread for the whole way. Yeah, so this concept, there is this one soulmate that I will get married, one husband, just because I have a one heart, one life. It just doesn't make sense to me. At least it doesn't satisfy me. Okay, what about you? Okay, come to the Islamic mysticism. The vision deepens. The Quran speaks of the creation in pairs, the famous word, uh, Zod, and which we Pakistani used in totally wrong connotation. So just because in Quran it said Zod, couple, pair, so yes, you have to get married. It doesn't matter, like, if you haven't found your purpose, your meaning of life, it doesn't matter. Like, just go with the flow and, go with what else? It just doesn't make sense to me. All I'm saying is it doesn't make sense to me. Getting married, now it's a wedding season have started in Lahore in Pakistan because now the weather is it's finally going from summer to winter. So it's a wedding season. And I just don't get it. There's this rush after office hours when you come back to the town and like everyone is just getting married, you know? Like it's not okay. I just don't understand why we don't encourage individuals, people, to know their self, to know their gift, to know the meaning of life, the purpose. Well, let's come back. Islamic mysticism, the Zohar vision deepens, and the Quran speaks of creation in pairs as a. But I guess it's not just Quran is speaking about the pairs; it's everywhere. When you look at the interconnected that part where he says 3 plus 4, so what was it? 3 plus 4. 4 seasons. So three, this father, mother, child, and there's many more Trinity. So we think it's duality, day and night, but there is this neutral part in between, that dialectric part between South and North Pole, between East and West. So, coming back, and the Sufis extended this into a vision of the soul's mirror. Rumi devotion to Shams Tabriz was for him an awakening. Their encounter opened a door to divine, and Shams vanished, and the connection already had done its work, and Rumi poetry became a living homage to their undeniable recognition. What I love, it was actually a request from a student, Sheila, to I love these questions in short. What is a soulmate in Islam or otherwise? Can we define it? Can a person have more than one soulmate? Who are the most famous soulmates of history and how did their stories unfold? Does it always begin or end well, soulmate thing? Is their shared purpose more important than love? What does God say about it? So while any answer to this question is going to be incomplete, and then she furthers, tell what is a soul. I'm still like, I'm not satisfied with this word, Zoj, and two people. And I'm just saying that. What is a soulmate in Islam or otherwise? So Zoj, Azwaj, it's plural. And the Quranic concept of Zoj is both simple and expensive. The Arabic word literally means pair or mate, but the Quran uses it in a way that stretches far beyond the romantic or merely human. It describes creation itself, structured in pairs. Okay, sky and earth, father sky, mother earth, night and day, the yin and yang, the male and female, seen and unseen. I'm not sure what does that mean, Persian word. What does that mean? Exist and non not existent. Let me write it for you. It's a Persian word. It's like that. Hastonist. Hasto? No. Yes. Cinta. Or in English, how can you write it? You can write it like Hastonist. It's Persian. So yeah, just connect. I remember it from seen and unseen. Okay, let's just remove it. What else? So she's saying ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين لعلكم تذكرون or تذكرون. For all things we created pairs, Surah Zariyat, Surah 51, ayah number 49, so that you might reflect and remember. And this word Zoj at the heart of divine design, it suggests the pairing is a cosmic principle. Everything exists in complementary, and purpose of that structure is remembered. The the I guess the Tazakur, Tazakkaru, I'm not sure. It's a plural of zikr, and that would be a scar. And then this is ayah Surah 30 and ayah 21. And among his signs is that he created for your mates from among yourself that you may find tranquility in them. He placed between you love, mercy, surely in that are signs of for a people who reflect. Okay. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. So, أزواج, mate, sign, ayah, a doorway into a reflection on divine mercy. And the companion of souls is framed as opportunity for tranquility, reflection. Okay. Taken together, these verses show the Quran treats soul pairing less as a single fated union and more as a cosmic principle of balance. Okay. Complementary and divine significance. Every pair in creation, relationship, or the self back to the God. I'm not satisfied with the Quran, the way she's maybe I'm missing the something. Maybe some other day I'll understand that, but I'm not satisfied with the Quran, those points. But I like her more the other ways she okay, in Sufi, soulmate is less about union with another person and more about being mirrored back into awareness of the divine. A soulmate is the one through whom God speaks to you, often by surprise, or the traditions echo this in their own language, as we have seen Anamkara, Atman, Brahman, the Egyptian, the Celtic. The Hinduism. So perhaps a soulmate is not one definition, but an archetype that several culture recognizes and give different names. I agree. Soulmate is a archetype. What do you think? So, to speak of soulmate and in Islamic register is to speak of signs beyond a romantic partner. This zoj is an encounter through which the soul remembers itself, remembers God, remembers the unity beneath apparent separation. Okay, this is a lovely question. Can you have more than one soulmate? My experiences tells me yes. Okay, what she says. So, if you leave the myth of Aristophanes, that we have a single missing half, but and then if you come to the history and psychology, many people meet more than one soul level companion in a lifetime, and our modern image of one is totally like in romance novels or romance movies, Hollywood films, or maybe it extending from Aristophanes' speech limits it limits us, limit the imagination. But if you look across the traditions, we find instead a sense of multiplicity, many recognitions, many mirrors, each with a purpose. And in Hinduism, some partnerships are dharmic. The dharmic, according to the wheel of dharma, existence and truth, they exist so each person can walk their spiritual path more fully. Yeah, I like this line. So some partnerships are dharmic. Each person can walk their spiritual path more fully. In Yoruba cosmology, the Ori, the soul destiny, recognize others with complementary destinies, forming alliances that serve community as much as individual, two in one. Not just serving the individual, but also serving the community. In Kabbalistic Judaism, thought the union of souls is something framed as a vessel for tikkun. Yeah, in Kabbalah, they talk a lot about tikkun, the repair of world. So you come to this world for your correction of some. And so some bonds arrive to anchor us in love. Okay, there are types of bonds. Some anchor you, some ignite creativity inside you, some shatter the illusions, remind us of the work we carry in the world. So So multiplicity seems much closer to the truth than singularity, and psychological research affirms this. Many people describe soul connection as, yeah, soul connection. Another perspective of seeing it, soul connection, as a resonance, a deep sense of being recognized rather than as recovery of a missing part. So neurologically, the intensity resembles what happens when artists improvise together, or when a student finds the teacher who finally unlocks their potential. So what was that season? Let me just show you that. Hmm. Yeah, Alchemy of Souls. So yeah, this was the teacher of him, this prince, and that's what I'm trying to link here. That she's saying, when a student finds the teacher who finally unlocks their potential, that's what's happening in this season, Alchemy of Souls. Okay, coming back. Sorry. Yeah. So it could also be like neurologically when two friends improvise together, or husband, wife, or siblings, or whatever. So alchemy and individuation work also offer their own language for this. Encounters that feel destined, even fatefully trigger, are better understood as catalyst. The other does not supply what we lack, they activate what has been sleeping in us. Yeah, something that is dormant in us, and they become catalyst for that transformation. Interesting question. Famous soulmates throughout history. So this idea of soul connection as catalyst for transformation becomes even more apparent when we look at famous historical. So she's giving one example. You can read it. Irish mystic and poet W.B. Yeats. Another she is giving that I am interested in Carl Jung, found in Tony Wolff, a companion of the psyche. The bond unfolded alongside the Carl Jung marriage, and a triangle acknowledged by all, including Carl Jung's wife, who would develop her own relationship with the Tony Wolff, and through it, Jung shaped his theories of anima animus archetypes. While their relationship was controversial, Tony Wolff's presence drew out parts of Jung's psyche that he could not have reached alone, and some of his most influential work would not have come about without her. Another example is Parisian Peter Abelard and his student Lois. And these stories remind us the soul connection taking many forms. So, both working together here, in this one, the third example, both are separated. And the first one, the female didn't, uh, reciprocated to WB Yeats his love. Okay. Okay, next question. Does it always start, the soulmate relationship start or end well? So rarely, but maybe sometimes that's the point. Jung's partnership unsettled the boundaries of marriage, and Okay. And okay, you can read the other things that I'm just skipping. Okay, this is interesting. It seems to me that blackening and whitening and yellowing and reddening alchemical four steps. Soul connections often destabilize before they stabilize. They bring upheaval, they bring revelation, they bring even destruction. But in their wake, something new becomes possible. For example, Rumi's and Shams Tabrizi's story when Shams vanished, and in that loss came the poetry. And what else? Endings, painful as they are, do not erase the truth of the recognition. And sometimes beauty is born from the painful endings, painful process experiences like roses that grow from concrete. Next question. Soulmate is okay. Two soulmates, like two people, so do they share purpose? More important than love? Is it purpose is greater than love, or love is greater than purpose? This question refuses a simple answer. As we mentioned earlier, the language of soulmates today often narrows itself to the romantic, but many traditions remind us that the purpose of such bonds extend beyond personal fulfillment. At the same time, however, sometimes the love is the purpose, two souls finding rest in one another. Other times, the bond is forged in service of something larger, like art, philosophy, healing of a community. So perhaps the deepest connection carry both affection plus vocation or intimacy plus work, and to separate them maybe is impossible. What does God say about soulmate? This one is also tricky because traditions vary. The Quran affirms the sign of pairs. Hindu texts remind us that the separation itself is illusion. And Christian mysticism often frames that the beloved is an icon of divine love. Sufi poets, mystics across tradition return again and again to the same intuition. Presence of a soulmate is a reminder of the presence of the divine. Yeah, presence of a soulmate. Or maybe not just a presence once in your life. If somebody's into your resonance, it's a reminder of presence of divine, of a bigger picture at macrocosm. So which brings me back to that Merlin season where both are talking, Merlin and Arthur, about fate and destiny. Is it fate or is it destiny? Because I feel my whole life is, if my life is a book, which it is, so my whole life is always, the pages of my book of life are blank. The more I want or the more I focus on that thing, living the bad and good, whatever it is, I always get it. Some of my friends said that's not how it works, but it works for me. Like focus and your intention plays a big part. And I suspect that God, however we name that presence, speaks through these encounters, though rarely with words. The alchemy of recognition, ultimately, when I glean from all these stories, research that the belief that are incomplete until another arrives can. Yeah, this concept that I really don't like in Pakistani culture, that you are complete, specifically, a female is incomplete until unless the husband comes in. Until unless even the husband comes in, kids are not, you are incomplete. You know, so we are why I disagree with it is because we are always looking externally. We can only be satisfied, uh, find our peace of mind when we go inside of us. Nobody externally, possessions or whether human beings, can never satisfy us. So just a distraction. Then you get that person, and then you get that possession, and then you get like you are still empty from inside. I don't know if I make sense to you or not, but that's how it's with me. So another rest can distract us from the deeper work of remembering our own wholeness and our connection with the world that lives, that breathes through us. Jung observed that we often project disowned aspects of ourselves onto others, and the overwhelming forces of attraction that this gives rise can be a signal that the psyche is reaching for what it has buried. It can be a signal that the psyche is reaching, okay, for what is in the framework, every recognition becomes a summon to integrate more of ourselves. And Alchemist spoke of called the man the revelation of and reconnection with what was already there. Once that was burned away, rather than fusion with something outside ourselves. Soul connections work in a similar way. Rather than completing us, so soulmate is not to complete you, you know. I guess it's our own job to complete us. So rather than completing us, the others reveal us. In their presence, forgotten aspect of ourselves step forward, or maybe the dormant. What we thought was missing or had forgotten altogether is suddenly visible. That they are responsible to activate something in ourselves. As a catalyst, they are catalyst, and that thing just activates something dormant inside us. What we thought was missing or had forgotten is suddenly visible, which is why these bonds can take so many shapes. Lover, a friend, a rival, a teacher, a stranger. Recognition becomes the spark of awareness whenever the soul glimpses itself reflected. So Aristophanes gave us a story of lost human beings torn apart, and it is a tale of rupturing, longing, and absence. And while Aristophanes told his myth with a comic glint, he also tapped into something enduring. We do feel wounded, we do wander, we are wandering, we are in search of, but perhaps the wound has been left by the forgetting of our own wholeness, completeness, rather than the separation from our other half. Where the Greek myths imagines a wound, Islamic visions, Islamic point of view is similar to the traditions we explore. Those the principle of pairing woven into structure of creation. And we are incomplete according to Aristophanes' myth. Searching for what was taken. The Quran says everything is already in relation, already created in pairs, so that we might remember one speaks the language of exile, the other is language of reflection. Taken together, they reveal the paradox at the heart of human connection. We feel split, and yet we are also already paired. We long for a reunion. While we are surrounded by mirrors, we age for completion. And at the same time, every encounter points us back to a wholeness that was never lost. Soulmates don't have a single definition. They are wounds, they are signs. They are catalysts, they are companions. Soulmates are mirrors, mysteries. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they vanish, sometimes they arrive only to transform us and then leave, like Shams the Brace. They appear across cultures in scripture, poetry, psychology, stories of ordinary lives. They can't be reduced to formulas or guaranteed by apps. Sometimes they bring joy, sometimes rupture, and sometimes both at once joy plus rupture. Perhaps the only definition that holds is this: a soulmate is anyone through whom we recognize more of our ourselves, more of the divine, and more of what it means to be alive. So may we recognize them when they come and allow them to let them transform us. So thank you for being the catalyst who sent me down this rabbit hole, Sheila, and thank you, dear readers, for joining.